So in yesterday's class, we were discussing about a few miscellaneous antibiotics. Now, can anyone tell me something about clindamycin? What did we discuss about clindamycin yesterday?
The clindamycin binds to 58 ribosomes
Okay. The mechanism of action is that it binds to
and
58
suppress
ribosomes.
the protein synthesis
Okay. Ribosome.
and suppress the
Hmm.
it's primary
Okay.
bacteriostatic, but if you increase the dose of that,
Hmm. What will happen if we increase the dose?
it will become
Bactericidal, sir.
bactericidal.
Okay. Anything else? Where can it be used? What are the uses of clindamycin?
Streptococci,
Hmm.
For bone and joint infection,
Hmm. MRSA पे काम करता? Will it work on MRSA?
yes sir.
Okay. Who is MRSA or what is MRSA? Think it is a type of staph aureus, resistant to a very particular drug. Methicillin resistant staphylococcus aureus को बोलते हैं MRSA. Okay. Other than MRSA और किस पे काम करता है? Kind of.
pneumococci,
Hmm. Pneumococci. Are you sure?
yes sir.
अच्छा. और
Aerobic bacteria, many aerobic
एरोबिक पे
bacteria.
एरोबिक एनारोब्स पे काम करता है?
No sir.
It will not work on anaerobes. Are you sure? Yesterday I told you in the spectrum that staph, pneumococci, and anaerobes. Anaerobes पे काम करता है. Staph, staph, pneumococci, और aerobes. Okay. What is the site of metabolism? How does it get metabolized?
Liver sir.
Okay. अच्छा, ठीक है. What about vancomycin? Who is vancomycin? What does it do? How does it work? And what are the common ADRs? Vancomycin कैसा काम करता? What are the mechanisms of action of vancomycin? Hey guys, sorry about that. There's a problem in the connection here. You might not have been able to hear me, or I might not have been able to hear you. As such, are we still recording? Yeah. Okay. So, what about vancomycin? How does it work?
It acts as cell synthesis sir. Inhibitors of cell synthesis.
Cell synthesis, cell wall synthesis.
Cell wall synthesis.
Okay. What are the common adverse effects? of vancomycin?
Ototoxicity and nephrotoxicity.
Okay. Other than that, और कुछ करता?
So, Redman syndrome, sir.
All right. What is Redman syndrome?
Sir, it's histamine releasing.
Okay, because of histamine release, what is happening?
Sir, that rashes on the head and neck.
There are maculopapular rashes. Maculopapular rashes. You can over the upper body of the person. I can occur all over the body as well, but then the upper body will. Other than that, they'll also have fever and chills. All right. How can you avoid Redman syndrome? Yesterday I told you you can do something to vancomycin that will cause this to be prevented. Redman syndrome को prevent कर सकता है.
Sir, by
By oh dear, the connection not proper. I'm not able to hear you. Chop हो जा रहा है बीच में. If you dilute the dose of vancomycin and give it over an infusion that is going for 1 to 2 hours, that will be able to help you avoid this thing. क्या बोलते हैं? Redman syndrome. All right. Now we'll continue with the other miscellaneous antibiotics. So we have a few more. One is phosphomycin. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about these drugs. Phosphomycin is essentially used for gram-positive and gram-negative organisms. Medium coverage, okay? Not exactly broad, but medium coverage. And this is mainly a cell wall inhibitor. Technically, cell wall synthesis inhibitor. Okay, cell wall will not be synthesized and ultimately bacteria will die. It can be given orally, you can give it parenteral as well, mainly undergoes kidney excretion and it attains very good concentration in urine. That is why phosphomycin is generally used in case of UTIs. Okay, अगर urinary tract infection है तो phosphomycin use करते हैं. Then there is a class of drugs, these are newer antibiotics, one class of drug called oxazolidine diones. So, oxazolidine diones. Okay, इसमें एक drug आता है which is linezolid. Linezolid is also a high-end antibiotic. Linezolid जो है 50S ribosome को inhibit करता and it will act as bacteriostatic on certain bacteria and bactericidal on certain bacteria. So it does not depend on the concentration per se, it will depend on the organism it is working on. Okay, inhibits 50S ribosomes. Inhibits. Alright. If you are giving it in patients who have dialysis, give it after the dialysis. Okay, अगर hemodialysis कर रहे, hemodialysis के बाद में दो. Linezolid it has good coverage on gram-positive aerobic and anaerobic organisms, not so much on gram-negative organisms, and it will also work on MRSA. Especially अगर vancomycin काम नहीं कर रहा, cephalosporin काम नहीं कर रहा, तो MRSA पे linezolid use करते. So there'll be a proper algorithmic chart. You don't have that, but essentially अगर lower antibiotics काम नहीं कर रहे तो you move to फ्लोरोक्विनोन पे काम नहीं कर रहा तो vancomycin देते, vancomycin काम नहीं कर रहा तो टिकोप्लानिन देते, टिकोप्लानिन काम नहीं कर रहा तो linezolid देते. ठीक है, linezolid is like the last drug that you give for this thing MRS. कभी कभी कोलेस्ट्रॉल भी देते but mainly linezolid. Now you can use linezolid for community acquired pneumonia, you can use it for skin infections, you can also use it for nosocomial pneumonia, pneumonia that is acquired in hospital. Okay. Then there is another class of drug called streptogramins. Streptogramins. These are also newer antibiotics. Streptogramins में mainly दो drugs आते हैं. You have more as well. आपके syllabus में 2 बस है, Pinipristine and Dalfapristine. Dalfapristine. Okay. Now, these are bactericidal, especially to gram-negative cocci. This will also gram-positive cocci. Sorry, this will also work on MRSA. Pinipristine and Dalfapristine. Generally, ये दोनों का combination देते हैं. तो वो combination कैसा रहता है बोले तो 30% of Pinipristine and 70% of Dalfapristine मिला के देते हैं. It will work very well against MRSA. It will work on gram-positive cocci, other gram-positive cocci as well. Main mechanism of action will remain the same. It will inhibit 50S ribosomes and ultimately leading to stoppage of protein synthesis. This gets excreted through feces. So dose adjustment in renal failure is not required. ठीक है, अगर क्विनिप्रिस्टिन डाल्फाप्रिस्टिन दे रहे हैं and पेशेंट है जो renal failure जिनको है उनके अंदर डोज एडजस्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. It will get excreted through feces, not a problem. Given IV. This drug is mainly given IV combination. Right. Then we have drugs that are used in UTI. Now UTI का treatment, most of it we've already discussed. One or two drugs we'll discuss extra. So I'll show you an image for now. UTI का treatment कैसा रहता? This is how. These are the drugs that are normally used in UTI. Trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole use कर रहे combination. ठीक है, same 1:5 जो ratio ले रहे आप, या फिर nitrofurantoin यूज करते हैं. Nitrofurantoin जो है, the mechanism of action of nitrofurantoin is unknown, but what we do know is that it will work on gram-positive, gram-negative bacteria. Both. It is bactericidal at low concentration and bacteriostatic at low concentration and bactericidal at high concentration. I'm talking about nitrofurantoin, the second drug. And absorption is very rapid and it attains very good concentration in urine. That is why it is used in UTI. Okay. Then we have fosfomycin, which we just discussed. Fosfomycin is essentially a cell wall synthesis inhibitor. Then beta-lactams में जो है normally fluoroquinolones cephalosporins use करते. अगर penicillin use करते तो cloxacillin use करते. ठीक है, जो penicillin is resistant penicillin है ना, वो cloxacillin use कर सकते हैं आप, ampicillin use कर सकते हैं. You can use certain cephalosporins. You can use nalidixic acid, which is a fluoroquinolone. You can also use norfloxacin, ciprofloxacin, levofloxacin. ये fluoroquinolones में आते हैं. ठीक है, depending on the organism, you can change this thing. But commonly जो है UTI के causative organisms जो रहते हैं, they will be E. coli. E. coli is the most common organism that will cause UTI as such across all boards. Complicated या uncomplicated random, more often than not, the causative agent for UTI will be E. coli. After E. coli, there is Klebsiella, Proteus भी करता है कभी-कभी. There is Enterococcus and Staphylococcus saprophyticus. ठीक है, ये main organisms which can cause UTI, and you don't have a lot of description about UTI. Very small topic altogether. That is why I'm not going into detail. Along with these, there are two drugs that can be given for UTI. One is methenamine mandolate. Methenamine mandolate एक special type of drug है. ये इसको antibiotic से use कर सकते हैं, but it does not. How should I put it? See, you will get this as a salt of mandelic acid and methenamine. This will be available as a salt of mandelic acid plus methenamine. ये करता क्या? Once it gets inside your body, it will release formaldehyde. Okay? Once methenamine mandolate is going inside the body, it will release formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a very good bactericidal agent. It will kill the bacteria. Especially once it reaches urine. Urine का pH अगर 5.5 के नजदीक है, it will immediately start releasing formaldehyde. ठीक है? Because of this thing, क्या बोलते हैं, आपका bacteria urine will become slightly more acidic, and as such what will happen is once formaldehyde is released, that will start killing the bacteria. That is how methenamine mandolate works. Correct? आप दूसरे drugs भी, दूसरे sulfonamides भी use कर सकते हैं UTI में, not just this thing, cotrimoxazole. Then there is another drug called phenazopyrazidine. Phenazopyrazidine. Okay. Phenazopyrazidine. ये ड्रग जो है, this is not an antibiotic, it is a urinary analgesic. Urinary analgesic. So in UTI, one common complaint that most patients have will be burning micturition. So while they are urinating, it will be very, very uncomfortable for them to urinate because it will have a very literally burning sensation when they are urinating. So to decrease that, you can give phenazopyrazidine. This is a urinary analgesic agent. It will relieve that uncomfortable feeling and it will relieve the pain. The patient will not be experiencing burning micturition. So those are all the drugs in UTI. As I told you, very small topic for you. Future तो अगर exam में UTI, they will combine it with some other class, one more small class. That is, suppose they can ask you write about cotrimoxazole and write about drugs used in UTI for a 4-mark answer. बहुत छोटा आता है, maybe 1 page, 1.5 page, not more than that. Okay, at least for you. You can go into a lot more description, but as such for you it is not a lot. All the drugs that I have discussed, those are more than enough. See, beta lactams में mainly cephalosporins. अगर penicillin use कर रहे हैं तो cloxacillin, ampicillin use करते हैं. कभी-कभी carbapenicillin भी use करते हैं. Fluoroquinolones use कर रहे हैं तो cipro, levo, norfloxacin use कर सकते हैं. Sulfonamide में cotrimoxazole use कर सकते हैं. आप fluoroquinolones में nalidixic acid use कर सकते हैं. tetracyclines use कर सकते हैं, aminoglycosides use कर सकते हैं. These are all the drugs other than this methenamine mandolate and pyrazinamide, phenazopyrazidine. Okay, these are all the drugs that will be included in UTI, not more than that. And you don't need to go into description for all of them. Okay. Now coming to treatment of TB or chemotherapy of TB. Now before we go into chemotherapy of TB, one quick recap of how it works. What happens is TB, the bacteria Mycobacterium tuberculosis, once it is inspired inside, it will reach your lung and it will get phagocytosed by the macrophage which is present in your alveoli. But what will happen is it will not die in that macrophage. Instead, it will stop the process of lysis of that bacteria. The bacteria essentially inside the phagosome will start releasing a protein through which phagocytosis is not complete. And it will use that macrophage as a site of division. It will start multiplying, it will start dividing, and it will make several copies of it. And eventually, what will happen is it will burst out of that macrophage. And it will form Gon focus. Gon focus, it will involve your lymph nodes and it will become Gon complex. And Gon complex, so once it starts moving around your body, it will become a rank complex. Essentially, that is how TB spreads. अब जहाँ पर जो क्या बोलते हैं गॉन फोकस हो रहा है, गॉन कॉम्प्लेक्स बन रहा है, वहाँ पर केशियस नेक्रोसिस होने लगता है. And you will see several spots on this thing. Now, depending on how severe it is, primary TB है, secondary TB है, कितना complicated है, you might have several spots of TB. A lobe altogether might be involved, or a small part of the lobe might be involved. You might have complications where other organs are getting involved. For example, biliary TB. Your progressive primary TB will lead to miliary TB slowly. Miliary TB में it is going to your brain, liver, kidney, इधर-उधर जाके it is causing millet-like lesions. Okay. TB, meningitis through TB is very common. Right? It can cause hepatic failure. It can cause kidney damage. Right? It can go to your heart and cause problems. So that is generally a small brief outlook of pathophysiology of TB. I hope you remember. We already discussed this. This is only going through very, very briefly, just so that you get an idea of what we are getting into. Now, coming to the drugs that are used in TB. See, TB की treatment जो है, it will be divided into first line drugs, second line drugs. There are also third line drugs. आप लोगों को नहीं है वो, but you can keep it confined to first and second line drugs. That is also fine. First line drugs में 5 drugs आते हैं. Isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, and ceftriaxone. All of them have a code because when you are treating a TB patient, you will not use a single drug. Okay. When you use this thing, patient, the treatment of TB, आप combinations में देते, isoniazid, rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide. You will also get drugs which will contain all the four of those drugs, which are all the four of the first four drugs. Isoniazid, say sambutal. We'll discuss about therapy of how treatment occurs later on. Once this chapter ends, I'll tell you how combination fixed dose regimen रहते हैं. एक फिक्स्ड डोसेस पे कॉम्बिनेशंस देते, 2 ड्रग्स 3 ड्रग मिला के देते. सो आइसोनियाजिड को INH बोलते हैं. ठीक है, दिस इज आइसोनियाजिड. रिफैम्पिसिन को R बोल के लिखते हैं. पायराजिनामाइड को Z बोल के लिखते हैं. इथाम्ब्यूटॉल को E बोल के लिखते हैं. ओके, स्ट्रेप्टोमाइसिन अगर यूज कर रहे तो स्ट्रेप्टोमाइसिन डायरेक्टली लिख देते या S बोल के लिखते कभी, बट मोर ऑफन देन नॉट इट इज नॉट रिटन एज S. दीज आर रिटन इन कॉम्बिनेशन. तो कैसा रहता है एक पेशेंट के ट्रीटमेंट में, जनरली INH plus R combination या INH R and Z combination ऐसा देते. You will get tablets that will have the combination itself. ठीक है, जैसा cotrimoxazole है, single combination of sulfonamide and trimethoprim. The same way you will get antitubercular drugs which will have a combination of these drugs. Now, first line treatment, if there is a patient in whom first line drugs are not working, either they have become resistant or whatever the reason is, they are having complications because of the drugs or severe side effects or jo bhi rahe do, that is when you move on to second line drugs. Due to failure of first line drugs, that is when second line drugs are used. Generally first line drugs ka khatam kar dete. Agar first line drugs kaam nahi kar rahe for whatever reason, that is when you move to second line drugs. Okay. Now coming to the first drug, isoniazid. Now, the mechanism of action, isoniazid is a prodrug. Okay, remember that. This fellow will go inside your body and get activated. So, mechanism of action is that INH enters the body. Once it is, going to the site of absorption and getting absorbed, वहाँ से it will enter into the bacteria, enters mycobacterium. Now, isoniazid it will not rely on your enzymes to get activated. It will rely on mycobacterial enzymes to get activated. I'll repeat once again. Isoniazid is relying on the enzymes that are present in the bacteria itself. It will get activated inside the bacteria. So once it is finding that bacteria, it will enter inside the bacteria, and that is when it will get activated. Okay, it will turn into active form of INH. Binds to enzyme responsible for mycolic acid synthesis. So what is mycolic acid? Mycolic acid is a special product in the mycobacterium which is required for bacterial cell wall. Okay, mycobacterium, this is essentially a cell wall inhibitor. अगर mycolic acid present नहीं रहा तो cell wall जो है आपके क्या बोलते हैं mycobacterium का नहीं बनता बराबर. All right. What isoniazid does is it will bind to those enzymes which is responsible for mycolic acid synthesis, and ultimately it will decrease the synthesis of mycolic acid. Essentially what will happen is यहाँ पर cell wall becomes weak. Weak cell wall which will lead to death. Tuberculocidal or bactericidal effect. So that is the mechanism of action of the isoniazid. It is entering into your body, it is getting absorbed in the body. After getting absorbed, it will go to the site of that bacteria. So essentially it will reach your lungs, and in the lungs it will enter the bacteria. Once it is entering into the bacteria, that is where it is getting activated, and in the bacteria it will go and bind to certain enzymes which are responsible for mycolic acid synthesis, and ultimately it will decrease mycolic acid synthesis altogether. Okay, the mycolic acid जो है, it will be released on the cell surface, the surface of this thing, bacteria itself, and ultimately it is decreasing the synthesis of these mycolic acid, leading to a weak cell wall, causing the death of the bacteria. That is the mechanism of action. Any doubts? Okay. So one thing about these drugs, why they are given in combination is that, especially isoniazid or any other first line drugs, is that अगर आप INH या कोई और ड्रग को अकेले दिए, resistance will develop very very quickly. That is why combination of isoniazid, rifampicin, अलग अलग combinations में देते हैं, या तो 3 drug combo, 2 drug combo, 4 drug combo, so that resistance does not develop. Now, sometimes you will see that solo use is causing resistance to develop in that organism. So you'll have to use a more aggressive treatment in the other drug. You'll definitely have to switch the drug, and even after switching the drug, you might have to use it more aggressively as well. Just to avoid that, from the start, from the beginning of the treatment itself, you will start giving a combination just so that resistance does not develop. Now, coming to the PK. Its oral absorption is good. Gets orally absorbed. Okay. It penetrates all tissue and gets metabolized by liver. Metabolism by liver. Specifically by a process called acetylation. Acetylation जो है, I don't need to go into a lot of details about what are acetylation reactions and all of that, but just remember that they are a type of phase 2 reactions. Okay? You form new products, synthesizing new products. Now, acetylation reaction जो है, it will be specific to different people, in the sense that you will have certain people who are slow acetylators. मतलब उन लोगों के अंदर acetylation reaction slowly होता, acetylators, and you have fast acetylators. So I'll repeat once again. Metabolism जो है is occurring by liver. Inside the liver, that drug is undergoing acetylation, and through acetylation, the drug is getting metabolized. Now, certain people will be slow acetylators and few people will be fast acetylators. Depending on what a person is, ये drug का T-half अलग रहता है उनके अंदर, ठीक है, जो half life रहती है. If and complications जो होते हैं वो भी अलग रहते हैं because of that adverse effects essentially. अगर slow acetylator में दिए, so the drug will last for at least 3 to 5 hours. The T-half of the drug will be 3 to 5 hours inside the person. So it can work for about 6 to 8 hours total. ठीक है. अगर fast acetylator में दिए, तो this will only, the T-half will be only 1 hour. Okay. So if you are giving isoniazid to a slow acetylator, now you can perform genotypic, genotype recognition in patients, but it will be very expensive and it's hard to find in India as well. So you just have to experiment. You will not know whether the person is slow acetylator or fast acetylator. After giving the drug for a little while, you perform TDM, and TDM is a good way to find out whether they are slow acetylator or fast acetylator. You'll be able to see how quickly the drug is, reaching its peak inside the person's body and how quickly it is getting excreted out. Okay. तो स्लो acetylator में जनरली जो ड्यूरेशन ऑफ एक्शन रहता है वो ज्यादा रहता है. फास्ट acetylator में isoniazid का ड्यूरेशन ऑफ एक्शन कम रहता है at the same dose. Okay. अगर एक person slow acetylator है, it means that the drug is staying in their body for a longer period of time. Because of which, what will happen is this drug isoniazid inherently has the property of interfering with pyridoxine. Okay. It will interfere with the usage of pyridoxine by your body, and it will interfere with excretion of pyridoxine in your body. It will increase the excretion of pyridoxine in your body. Okay. Whenever isoniazid is given, what you do is you will supplement the patient with pyridoxine. Vitamin B6 की एक tablet दे देते हैं उनको, 10 to 50 mg की एक tablet देते हैं. This is because, especially in patients who are slow acetylators, in them because isoniazid is interfering with the usage of vitamin B6 and it is increasing the excretion of vitamin B6. It will cause a condition called peripheral neuritis. Peripheral neuritis. Okay? Your peripheral neurons will undergo inflammatory damage essentially. Alright. This will occur specifically in slow acetylates. ये avoid करने के लिए आप क्या कर सकते हैं? Extra amount of vitamin B6 supplement कर सकते हैं patient में and they'll be fine. If it is a fast acetylator, इनके अंदर hepatitis होता है. If a patient is a fast acetylator, इनके अंदर hepatitis होने के chances रहते हैं. Especially if that person is an alcoholic or an elderly patient. So use carefully when you are using isoniazid in elderly people or in people who are alcoholics. Okay? And in general, it can cause hemolysis in G6PD deficient people. If there is a person who has glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency, unke andar this drug can cause hemolysis. All right. So that is about isoniazid. We'll continue with the rest of the drugs tomorrow. All right. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Do you have any doubts? Or do you want me to repeat anything? Okay.